everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Okay, so this is my reading vlog talking all the books that I read between the 23rd and the 29th of July 2023. You know, it is great to be back with a reading vlog. I love how casual the reading vlogs are. It's like, yes, I can just talk to you about life and love and things that are going on. How are you? How are things going with all of you out there in BookTube world? How was your week? Mine was a bit up and down, I suppose. But there came a very big revelation for me this week that I'll quickly share with you. I was, on the verge of being on this precipice of having 3 books left to read and getting very close to the end of the month. And so for the first time I honestly don't even know how long it's been. It's probably been multiple years. I did not actually complete my entire TBR in the month of July. And even though July is not over yet at the time that I'm recording this video, I have decided I will not complete them all by the end of the month. So the last 2 books on my July TBR, I've actually moved over to the beginning of my August TBR. So that's going to be interesting. But I'd rather do that than rush my way through books purely because I wanted to stick to my entire TBR. Have you done the same? Let me know in the comments below. If you have a set TBR for the month that you're going to read and you don't know if you're going to make it, do you put pressure on yourself to try and get through your entire TBR by the end of the month? Or are you more than happy to just push over whatever you have left at the end of that month into the next month and it's totally fine? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, let's talk about what I actually did get to this week. So I only got to 2 books this week, and the first of which was this book, Lament at Loon Landing by Josh Lanyon, which is book number 6 in the Secrets and Scrabble series, and an adult cozy mystery. Okay, you guys, I went into this book eagerly anticipating this so much because I was waiting since October of 2022, which was the initial release date. And then October came and went, and in November we still didn't get the book, and in December we still didn't get the book, and then January, February, March, April, finally in May of 2023, the physical book came out. I think in June of 2023, the audio book came out. In July of 2023, I have my physical copy and listened to the audio copy. And you know what? I was so eagerly anticipating it, and it ended up being an average read for me. I ended up giving it 3 stars in the end. So the premise of this book is when legendary singer Lara Fairplay agrees to make her comeback appearance at Pirate Cove's annual Maritime Music Festival, everyone in the quaint seaside village is delighted, including mystery bookstore owner and sometimes amateur sleuth Ellery Page. Lara is scheduled to perform a recently discovered piece of music attributed to the father of American music, Stephen Foster. Several mysterious incidents later, Ellery is less delighted, especially when it becomes clear to him that someone plans to silence the celebrity songbird forever. Okay. Normally, I like to talk cons first and then pros so that we end on a positive note, but I'm going to talk pros first and then cons because the pros are stock standard pros that I have for the series as a whole. I love Ellery Page, our amateur sleuth. For those of you who don't know about this series, this is the only cozy mystery series that I've read so far that has a male protagonist, and of course, as well, the only cozy mystery series that I know of that has a male protagonist that just happens to be gay. So I really appreciate that we're following a male protagonist and that they are a member of the LGBTIQ+ community. And I love the character too. His name is Ellery Page. I think Ellery is a great protagonist. He is a great character for us to get the perspective of and see things that are playing out through their eyes. So Ellery was a great choice for the protagonist, and I love him as a main character. His partner, which is, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember his name, Detective Carson. Great guy. You can tell how much he loves Ellery. And so I really, really do appreciate that. And they have a dog by the name of Watson that I absolutely love as well. And this series it's a beautiful, beautiful series on the cozy side. And on that cozy side, I really enjoyed this book. And despite giving it 3 stars, the 3 stars that I gave mostly came from the cozy side of the book. There are 2 mysteries in this book. One is with that singer person, Lara. So one of the guys in Pirates Cove that Ellery knows tells Ellery that he needs to come down to their performing group to have a chat. Ellery doesn't know why, and then he is advised that someone is trying to kill Lara, and they don't know who it is, so they want to hire Ellery because he's done a lot of amateur sleuthing in the past, whether he just fell into it because of reasons, or there were other times in other books where he started running his own amateur sleuth kind of agency, where even though he really shouldn't, he would allow people to hire him for a fee, and then he would sleuth for them. So that's what they want to do. They want to hire Ellery with very, very nice compensation, I might add, to work out who is plotting to kill Lara. But the thing is, a rumor starts up at some point in the book that Lara is actually faking it for the publicity. No one's after her. She's the one who's doing all these things that are considered to be evidence that someone's after her. And because of that, I straight away thought, yeah, this seems very likely that's what's going on here. And so because of that, I just wasn't interested in that mystery. Also in the book, someone dies. I won't say who. Someone dies. That becomes a mystery as well. So there are 2 separate mysteries. The person who dies, we know of, but I don't think we've ever actually met until this book. So I just really wasn't invested in them. I don't like following murder mysteries where we don't know the person because I'm not invested enough in them. So I wasn't invested enough in the person who died or Lara or her mystery. So anytime we followed the mystery, I just didn't care, to be honest. But all of the lovely cozy stuff I did like, and that's why it ended up getting a total of 3 stars from me. And I am going to be reading book number 6, is it? I'll just double check. And I'm glad I checked because this is book 6. I am going to read book 7, which is the latest book in the series that's available in the series in this month in August. Sorry, this month, next month. I don't even know when you're watching this. If you're watching it in August, this month. If you're watching it in July, next month. There you go. But yeah, all in all, 3 stars from me. A letdown considering how much I was looking forward to it. And I hope that Josh Lanyon can bounce back with book number 7. So the next book and the final book that I picked up this week was this book, By Your Side by Casey West. This is an adult male-female straight romance, and I gave this book 3 stars as well. So, okay, prior to this book, had read 3 of Casey West's books, and I liked all of them. I have a goal to read more straight romance. I've read 3 straight romance books so far in 2023, all part of the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy, and on the whole, the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy let me down, so I wanted to read more straight romance to find some gems of straight romances, and I decided to go back to Casey West because I liked the 3 books that I read of hers prior to this one. This one, however, was an average read for me. So the basic premise, I thought, was that we follow Autumn, who ends up getting locked in a library. Autumn, who's a high schooler, who ends up getting locked in the library. I'll explain why. So Autumn and her high school classmates are going to go away on a camping trip. They're leaving from the high school, and before everyone leaves, Autumn needs to go to the bathroom, so she goes back into the school to go to the bathroom, and then suddenly finds herself locked in to the library. She ended up using the library bathroom, and she ends up getting locked into the library because all of the lights go off, the security comes on because it's now the weekend, Friday night, the weekend, and so she's locked in. Turns out she's not there alone. There's another guy whose name is Dax. What Autumn knows of Dax, thanks to rumors, is that he is a loner who kind of keeps to himself, but he has had a stint in juvie, so it couldn't be anyone any more dangerous that she's locked in with. What's going to happen? And my thoughts were, okay, this is adorable. So we have the second chance trope with the guy who I just said, Dax, guy who was a criminal. He's a loner. The protagonist thinks that he is just a bad person, and we're going to find out more about him. She's going to fall in love with him because she's going to realize he is actually a really great person who's just fallen on bad times. And by the time they get released out of the library, my thoughts were that they would get together, be romantic, have an argument, because there's no YA romance out there that I read so far that doesn't include a breakup. I'm sorry, but if you found a YA romance that is a straight YA romance where there's no breakup at all in the book with the main characters, please send it my way. I need to read it. It just annoys me. I know we should have drama in every book, but does it have to be a breakup? It becomes predictable. But anyway, so they would break up, then they would get back together, then they would be rescued from the lock-in, and they would all live happily ever after the end. What surprised me was this is exactly where it was going until the first third. Once the first third was over, they were released from the library. So they were let out. So I didn't know what was going to happen for the rest of the book, because here's my premise thrown right out the window. And I'm like, what's going to happen now? They're out of the library. Is it just a really short book? What am I missing? And then I realized I was only a third of the way through. Like, what the heck? So anyway, yeah, look, all the things that I thought would happen kind of did. They didn't really get too intimate or anything, but Dax, she learns more about Dax and what's actually going on with him, and she goes from thinking of him as someone that she needs to stay away from to someone that's actually a really nice guy. And then they're let out, and it turns out this guy that's part of the group that she was going to go away camping with, that she has a crush on, and unbeknownst to her, he has a crush on her, ends up getting in a car accident, and he ends up going unconscious. And the reason he got into a car accident, and this is not a spoiler because it's just setting us up for the whole point of the story, which is a love triangle, sadly. In my opinion, sadly, if you love love triangles, yay for you. For me, sadly. The reason he ended up in the car accident and therefore wound up in a coma was because Autumn's parents had reported that she was missing because no one knew where Autumn was while she was in the library with Dax and locked in. And so she was presumed to be dead. So this guy had gone out, I think his name was Jeff, went out looking for her, and it was a snowy night. And while he was driving looking for her, he slipped off the road and got in an accident and wound up in a coma. And so she feels horrible that this is why he's in the coma, but she loves Dax, and what is she going to do? And that becomes the point of the story, rather than the point of the story being her and Dax are locked into a library. Let's see how things go, and they won't get out till the second last chapter of the book. But anyway, so if any of that intrigues you, then I certainly do recommend picking up the book. I just think for me, once the first third was done and they were released out of the library, I kind of thought, where do we go from here? And when it was determined where we were going from here, it just wasn't what I wanted out of the book. In saying that, one thing that I do need to give Casey West credit for is Autumn has anxiety, but Casey West makes an amazingly valid point, which is anxiety itself is not a mental health monolith. It comes with all different strands and strains and differing types of anxiety, and how the anxiety can occur, what the anxiety can relate to, which I really appreciated. And some of the things that Autumn suffers with when it comes to her particular anxiety, the who, what, where, when, high, and wow, I can actually relate to. So I really appreciated that Casey West didn't do what a number of other authors have done that I've seen, that I read, which just say, this is a character that has anxiety, and anxiety is the same for everyone. They don't say these words, but they act like it is. Where Casey West was actually saying, no, in this particular case, she suffers from anxiety in these specific situations. This is specifically what happens to her because everyone's different. So I really, really, really did appreciate that. Look, all in all, It was an average book for those reasons. I thought Dax was an amazing character. I really appreciated getting to know him. I knew that I would. Anytime you open up a book with this guy who is a social outcast and potentially a criminal and we don't trust him, all I can think now, because I've read so many romances, is I just need to get to know him. But I'm sure I'll like him once I know him, and that's what happened with me. Once I got to know his backstory and find out why he was, how he became who he is perceived to be, I knew I would like him, and I did, as a character. So that was good. I don't know why that was so complicated to say. But anyway, I finished the book, gave it an average of 3 stars. It was an average read for me. It's not going to stop me from picking up Casey West books. In fact, I have another Casey West book that I'm reading in August, which is The Distance Between Us. So this was my 4th Casey West. That will be my 5th one. And who knows, I'll probably continue to read even more Casey Wests. But this one was just a bit of an average read for me. So what books have you read in this past week? Let me know in the comments section below. But until next time, that is where I am going to leave it. So I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.